Okay, hello, week 3. I come bearing good news and some more advice. I also decided that I am going to try to make up like a timeline that will be a little more helpful for people now that I see people are actually watching. I'll try to present my my advice and ideas in like an order that will be helpful for somebody who is actually thinking about applying. So like advice for preparing your application, studying for the LSAT, advice for starting law school, and then once you're there, I think that that will be more helpful than just random sporadic advice. But until then, this will be another piece of random sporadic advice. And I'll tell you the good news at the end. So, one thing that you're going to get very familiar with in law school is how to take really good notes. It's essential. You're going to die at the end of the semester when you are studying for finals if you didn't take really good notes. So, I must say I am proud of the notes that I take. I just do them in like a outline format already, although when you're studying for the actual exam, you're probably not going to keep this much information. You're going to cut it down. But for me, the part of the studying process is going through these notes and how dense they are and like highlighting things and pulling them out to put into the final outline, which I will talk about in another video because it deserves its own video. But anyways, specifically, I wanted to talk about briefs, which you may have heard of. I should have pulled one out that was appropriate before starting this video, but I did not. Here we go. All right, so brief. You are going to read a lot of cases, and it's hard to remember all of these when you're in class and you have to speak up about something, and so you create something called a brief, which is just a synopsis of the case. And I think law schools might be different in the way that they set these up, but my law school taught me, they call it the IRAC format, so it's IRAC, which is Issue, Rule, Analysis, Conclusion. But it should be called FIRAC, I think, because you need the facts as well. So anyways, I do the FIRAC format. So yeah, you just put down some facts, cut it down as much as you can. Trust me, judges, especially Supreme Court justices, love to talk, and so you're going to need to cut a lot of superfluous stuff out. And then under issue, you basically put like why this case is in the book. For this, it was whether a holographic will can be admitted to probate. So yeah, you'll have the joy of learning about wills and trusts in law school. And then under the rules section, you put like either the holding of the case or some statute or something like that that is applicable and that answers that issue. And then in the analysis, like it sounds, you put the court's reasoning for coming to that conclusion. And then conclusion is you put affirmed or reversed or vacated or whatever the court decided. So these are going to be really essential not only for speaking up in class, but also when you're studying for the final and you want to pull out a fact or two about that case. Because when you're creating those outlines that I'll talk about, you don't have room for this entire brief, in your outline. And so you're going to want to go in and pull from that brief basically what you'll need to know, or like a catchphrase from the case that you'll be able to quote in an exam. Sorry, I am not doing well at speaking tonight. Anyways, so that is that's how I take notes. I take pretty dense notes, but I just like to be thorough with it. And they help me in class, so kind of wastes a lot of ink. But oh, that's another thing. One time, I think I was on like Yahoo or something, and there was an article about which fonts use the least amount of ink. So I started using Century Gothic, and I totally think it's true because my ink cartridge lasted like a month longer than it used to. So it's got to be working right. Anyways, my good news. I'm so excited. I got an interview, finally. I turned in a ton of applications and other things at the beginning of February, so I was starting to get really worried because it's like, how long can it actually take someone to look over applications, right? But no, I got a call today, and I have a phone interview on Friday, which at first I was nervous about because I would prefer to do it in person. Just, I don't know, I feel like someone can tell more about you in person, your personality, your mannerisms, those sort of things. And so I just felt like that wouldn't translate as well over the phone. But my friend pointed out a few perks to me, one of them being that I can have notes with me, which you wouldn't be able to have at an interview, like that I can look at. And I can be in my pajamas. So there's that. So I'm looking forward to it, and that's this Friday at noon. So this next video I'll be able to tell you how I did. And the next huge thing after this will be trying to figure out how I'll pay for the summer. So that'll be another video as well, talking about summer funding, summer loans, summer classes, things like that. Which, speaking of that, last summer I worked in this city, so I didn't have to leave, which was nice. And in order to get loans, you had to be taking classes or be getting credits of some sort. And so I ended up taking some summer school classes. I took community property and an intellectual property seminar. It was just 2 units. So that's an option, and that put me 5 units ahead of my classmates. But if it really comes down to it, I don't recommend it because I was extremely busy doing an internship and summer classes. I didn't have any time to do anything else. So, but you do what you got to do, right? Anyways, so that's it for this week. Hopefully that helped. You are going to want to know how to do that stuff even before you start, because they just throw you right in. And yeah. So I will talk to my few viewers next week.